Hi everybody, welcome back to Junk Bucket Garage. Today we're going to be taking the transmission out of this GTO. It's about the fourth or fifth time I've done that. I just took the transmission out and I put a 10-inch torque converter in it. Put it back in and it's leaking right up at the front of the transmission somewhere. I got under there with that inspection camera thing. Ended up not needing it because that 10-inch converter, you can see all around it. And it looks like it's leaking out of the front pump, right at the bottom. So that O-ring, or that gasket behind the O-ring, isn't sealing. We're gonna yank it out, fix that, fix it, stab it back in today. We'll get some video of that and how I go about it. And then we'll just take a quick walk around the GTO. It's pretty close to done. It's driving, it's streetable. I gotta get a front bumper, I gotta get a rear bumper. We're gonna get some video later. I don't have enough vacuum to run the vacuum brakes. So we're gonna do one of them hydraulic brake jobs. Never done one before, that'll be interesting. And then we're gonna put EFI on this thing because my Torino big block car has just about burned me out with tuning. So, no interior yet, no top. That's all gonna be last. And then here's a neat one. Had a windshield put in and it broke. So they put a new windshield in. And all of these little clips that hold the reveal molding on all failed. All of them. I don't. It's just, you gotta do everything 5 times to make sure. Because America, I guess. So here's the GTO. It's dirty. It needs a bath. It needs a bath bad. I'm gonna do this. You're not supposed to do this. Look at that. Don't ever do that. That'll scratch your paint. But it's okay.
To the no. Hell.
Need a rear bumper. All the chrome's done. So we're gonna get that transmission out, back in. That should only take forever. Don't do what I just did and pull the dipstick tube out before you drain the transmission, because then transmission fluid gets everywhere. Oh, spider webs. It's only supposed to be 150,000 degrees here in the Mid-Valley in California today, so that makes it so much nicer. That header wrap is just wide enough that I can't get to my exhaust flange bolts with it on. You guys like my American flag shorts? Because America. Take this exhaust down all by myself. That's how strong I am. Superman. Heat. 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 That's my do-it-yourself 5,000 homemade helper outer button. It's patent pending right there. That's So we got it out, and you can see sun glare. Okay, you can see with that 10-inch converter, you can see the pump behind it, which is pretty nice when you're under the car and you're trying to look inside there. Now I know, because I've already looked in there, that there was no drip coming from the seal, but you can see, I don't know, can you see? You see a little trans fluid right there on that lip. It looks like it's coming from that bottom bolt right there, or it's actually coming around the flat gasket and the O-ring and leaking out of the pump here, down here at the bottom. And you can see there's some fluid on my finger right there where I just wiped that. But when you go up above that, if I can do it, it's dry on both sides. So I'm going to do that pump gasket and that pump O-ring, and then cross my fingers. Oh yeah. Now the way I'd normally take this front pump off is I'd take the pan off and get a pry bar down in there on the drum and do one of these with the wrist actions and pop that right out, because these are very difficult if you don't. But I'm not going to do that because I don't want to take the pan off. So watch me fight this for an hour. Learn something new every day. I found out that with the Turbo 400, they've got these threaded holes.
Yeah.
And you just screw those in and it pops the front pump out. There's no need to take this off, which I already took off, so that's awesome. But you learn something new every day. I found one of these. It goes on an Allen wrench. I only got one of them though, but I got this most of the way out. I think I can get it. I'll put a little bit of this. Turning. Going in. I can see that this gasket is lifted really bad and it's really hard, and it's lifted in a bunch of places here. Here's a bad one, you can see that one, and I'm sure that was pulled down flat, but I think that gasket was just letting fluid seep by it, and then it was probably seeping by the gasket and then coming out of one of these bolt holes. I don't know. We might put some thread sealant on these bolts. No. I don't know. I just don't know. But that gasket is definitely bad. It's bad. It's really, really, really brittle. All right. So we're gonna get into this thing. I'm not really gonna change anything. The transmission ran great. It shifted perfect. It's just that little leak. So I'm gonna do gaskets. And while I'm in here, because it's cheap, I'm gonna do seal or the bushing that the converter rides on, just to save on my new 10-inch converter snout. All these input shaft bushings, the input shaft looked great, everything was great, everything was just fantastic. So that's where we're going to get started. Battery, new battery. You know what? I just want to make sure. Look at that. Look at that. Different lengths. So I'm going to leave them. I'm going to leave them right in the hole they came out of. That's what I'm going to do. You went to that hole. This thing's gonna fall down on me, isn't it? Oh, that one don't want to work. That one don't want. I'll show you what you don't want to do. A bunch of break things. Oh yeah, that's fall right down like that. I'll lift this up. There's your pump, the actual pump gears. I'll clean this really good. Do my magic to it. So, oh yeah. My highly trained eyes say that I don't know, so it looks good. Is that the way that came out? Yeah. Oh, you don't want to come out, do you? Well, then that means you fit good, and you don't want to come out. You don't have to. Alright. So I got a new one of these. Even though this is already a new one, because that's going to get destroyed when I pull it out. I always plan on replacing that seal anyway. I've made that mistake before, putting a transmission in, don't replace that seal, and it's old and hardened, and you got a leak, and you got to pull your transmission back out. Don't ask me how I know. That's the reason why that's a new one, because I had to pull the transmission back out. I'm sure there's an easier way to do that. That's no good. Oh, bueno. That is not good. That bushing got some pretty nasty. I'm just hitting the bushing. I'm not hitting the front pump at all. You don't want to put any gouges or scratches on the pump. I just did that with the, no, I didn't. I did that with the screwdriver. So this, I don't know if you can see or not, that is all gouged up right there. And then there's some bad surface area in the bushing itself. So that's pretty bad right there. I mean, that right there is bad. That looks like something I would run. You don't want that. And that was riding on my new torque converter. So if you're changing your torque converter, you can usually look at the snout on it and you can see if it's all destroyed or if it's got gouges or uneven wear, and then that'll give you a good idea, hey, that bushing needs to be changed. I think it's pretty easy to get to. You're gonna have the converter out, the transmission out to change the converter anyway. I think from now on, we'll just change this every time. Just gonna get a look at that. Oh yeah, now on this Turbo 400 pump, I noticed that there is no special hole for fluid. There's no arrow. I mean, you know, there's nothing to tell you that this bushing needs to go in be clocked a certain way. You know, I see the feed hole for the fluid here. That's going to be probably what sprays onto the converter snout. And so putting this back in should be fairly simple. Not this, obviously, the new one. That's it right there. Like that. Like that. Oh, yeah. And the most difficult part of this process is going to be making sure that goes in straight. Now, I have a set of bushing seal drivers. I'm going to use those. Find the right one and drive that down flush. Okay. When you're reassembling this stuff, always put a little transmission fluid on everything. You can use Vaseline too. It just breaks down in the fluid when you start running. Big bucket of trans fluid handy. I'll use that. Look at that. Well, Timmy, when a front pump and a bushing love each other very, very much, and then a guy comes along with a hammer, now I'm going to go up to a bigger size. So that it catches this outer ring, and then I'll know and flush. Flushy McGee. Holy. Oh yeah. You just want to pay close attention to start those square, nice and square. Now pronounce you seal and cover. All right. Shiny side down, shiny side down. Right? 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 I know how to find out. Woohoo! We torqued these down to, oh yeah, that's what they torqued to. That's what it says in the book. Okay. Now we got to get this O-ring out of here. Come on, meow. Look at that. Look at that. Broke. Just broke. That is so brittle. That's rubber. That's supposed to be nice and forgiving. That is not what that is. I'm sweating so much it's dripping off of my elbows. Diesel Tech Ron. I miss that guy. He had some great content. Alrighty, so I can see already that there's holes in this gasket that aren't going to be used. I just want to make sure that I'm not covering a hole on the pump. There's that hole. There's that hole. Yep. Yeah, there's a hole there. Yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah. Those are holes. Yes. All right. Just like that, huh? Transmission's back in. Let's put it on the ground. Go do burnouts. So they gotta put gas in it, because the last time I was tuning on it, I might have ran it out of gas.